The sun blazed over the horizon as Michael returned from a week-long trip, eager to check on his sprawling property nestled in the rolling hills. But the sight that met him froze his heart. 98 partially built homes sprawled across his land, construction crews buzzing and machinery roaring. In disbelief, he took a cautious step forward, scanning the chaos. Every tree he remembered, every patch of grass, now replaced by rooftops, piles of lumber, and half-finished walls. His mind raced. The HOA had no authority to build on private land. This wasn't just overreach, it was trespassing on a massive scale. Michael remembered the calls, letters, and warnings he had ignored while traveling, but nothing prepared him for this sight. The enormity of what Karen, the HOA president, had done struck him like a punch. She had assumed his absence was permission, bold and brazen. Neighbors peeked curiously over fences, whispering, but Michael barely noticed. His hands clenched as he realized the irony. He held the title to every inch Karen and her HOA had built upon. Every nail, every beam legally his. A cold smile crept across his face. The HOA might think they owned the day, but Michael owned the foundation, and he intended to show them exactly what that meant. By sunrise, Karen arrived in her black SUV, clipboard in hand, already anticipating Michael's rage. "Michael, this is for the community," she said sharply, trying to mask her nervousness. "These homes will help families. Everything's approved by the HOA." Michael took a deep breath. Calmly, he walked past the construction workers and approached Karen. "Approved by the HOA?" he repeated, tilting his head. "Let me remind you, I own every inch of this land. You built 98 homes on my property without permission. That's trespassing." Karen's smile faltered, but she tried to mask panic with authority. "You left for a week. You weren't responding to our notices. This is for the greater good." Michael shook his head. The greater good doesn't include stealing someone's home, their land, or their legacy. "You assumed I wouldn't notice? You assumed I wouldn't act." The construction workers stopped mid-task, watching the standoff unfold. The air was tense. Michael's calm, confident presence contrasted with Karen's sudden unease. Today wasn't about yelling or threats. It was about law, ownership, and the undeniable truth she could no longer hide. Michael didn't shout, didn't storm the site. Instead, he walked toward his pickup, retrieving a thick folder of documents. Property deeds, county records, and land surveys dating back decades. Construction crews craned their necks, curious. Karen's confidence faltered as Michael laid the documents on a nearby table. "Every inch you've built on, I own. Every foundation, every beam, every footprint," he said calmly. "I've waited patiently, but now it's time for the law to speak." Karen glanced nervously at the workers. Some murmured, unsure whether to continue working. Michael continued, "I'm willing to resolve this peacefully. You remove the homes or we escalate court, injunctions, compensation. Your choice." Her face hardened. "We'll never remove them. The community is built on my land. That's the difference." Michael interrupted firmly. Silence fell. The workers froze, realizing the HOA's president had overreached dangerously. By midday, Michael had informed the county. Surveyors confirmed every corner of the construction lay on private property legally owned by Michael. Karen's smug power began to crumble. Word spread quickly throughout the neighborhood. Neighbors, who had once feared Karen's authority, now whispered in astonishment. 98 homes, built illegally, on private land. Michael remained calm, orchestrating the situation with precision. Children played nearby, oblivious to the tension, while parents peered from yards. Karen tried to assert control, barking orders, attempting to push workers to continue. But the legal notices and Michael's calm authority created confusion and doubt. Michael walked among the construction, speaking to workers kindly but firmly. "You can't build here. It's not HOA property. The law is clear." Many nodded, some stopping mid-task. Even the lead contractor hesitated. Karen's frustration escalated. Her mouth opened, her arguments drowned by the rising awareness around her. Michael's patience, preparation, and undeniable ownership had shifted the power. The narrative was no longer hers. It belonged to the truth. By evening, Karen tried negotiation. "Michael, we can find a compromise. Keep some homes, sell others to the HOA," she proposed, her voice tense. Michael laughed softly, shaking his head. "A compromise? You built on land that's mine without permission. I don't negotiate with trespassers. You need to remove everything you've built." The construction site fell silent. Workers and neighbors watched the exchange. Karen's confidence, once unshakable, was gone. Michael's calm, methodical approach showed not just ownership, but moral authority. He continued, "I understand you wanted to expand the community, but this isn't the way. I've given you notice. Now it's your choice to leave peacefully or face legal consequences." Karen glared, realizing that her bluff had been called. The seeds of doubt were spreading among her followers. Michael's ownership, preparation, and composure had rendered her plans powerless. The next morning, county authorities arrived with legal orders. Karen's HOA had no claim. Michael's title was indisputable. Slowly, workers began dismantling structures, removing scaffolding, hauling away materials. Karen protested, shouted, and tried to influence the crew, but the law was clear. Michael supervised quietly, ensuring the removal went smoothly. Neighbors, previously intimidated, now offered help and encouragement. By sunset, the land was cleared, returning to the natural beauty Michael remembered. The cabins, rooftops, and walls were gone. Karen left in humiliation, her power shattered, unable to override true ownership and legality. Michael stood silently on the hillside, taking in the view. The sun reflected off the untouched fields, the forests, and the rolling hills. Ownership wasn't just a legal fact. It was a responsibility, a legacy, and a shield against arrogance. Weeks later, Michael restored the land, planting trees where construction had disturbed the soil. Neighbors now greeted him warmly, many sharing stories of Karen's past overreach. Michael smiled, walking across the hills, realizing the importance of patience, preparation, and calm authority. The property remained untouched, a testament to resilience and rightful ownership. Karen's name faded into whispers of cautionary tales, while Michael's legacy grew stronger. As he gazed across the sunset-lit hills, Michael knew one thing. No amount of arrogance, overreach, or temporary authority could stand against truth, preparation, and a steady, patient heart. His land, his legacy, and his integrity were intact and untouchable.